Today, let's talk about 5 things that I wish people told me sooner, or things that I wish people said that was okay to do, or things that don't really matter so much, which probably won't be the name of the video because that's a bit of a mouthful. There's loads of things out there when it comes to restoring and building retro bikes and bikes in general that people say you have to do this way or the world will end. Probably. And a lot of them don't really matter too much, or some of them are so outdated that it's actually okay not to do that anymore and there's other things available. A couple of these things might actually start a little bit of a conversation down below, and I'm okay about that. So let's get started and talk about the first one. Canty brakes aren't necessary anymore. Now this one is kind of the reason why I started this video in the first place. The amount of times that I don't put cantilever brakes on one of my bikes, the amount of comments it draws in of, oh, why are you not putting cantilevers on that bike? Oh, he's only not doing that because he doesn't know how to. It's weird. I'm not the first one to say. Things have moved on, and I'm a retro guy. I like my retro bikes. I actually very much like cantilever brakes. I like the way they feel. I like the way they look. But brakes are better now, and there's a reason why the last Tour de France they weren't all using cantilever brakes, because there are better brakes out there. I, most of the time now, to be honest, use V-brakes, and the biggest reason for that is I find them extremely easy to set up and quick. Cantilever brakes, even when you're really good at them, there's a couple of extra components. Doesn't take miles longer, but there's a few extra steps. There's a few different bits that you have to attach, and I think a V-brake is just boom, 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 and it's just there. The other thing is the fact that because the time has gone on, you can buy really decent V-brakes, brand new, and they are absolutely sick and perfect, no problems at all. A lot of cantilevers, you can't really buy them new anymore unless you're kind of going for some of the track ones. You can find some new old stock or some bits and pieces out there, but the brake pads, especially if you've got an older set, it's gonna be hard to find them. And the last time I bought brake pads for cantilever brakes, they ended up being like £10 a packet. And that was insane in my opinion. So I'm quite comfortable going on record and saying you don't have to use them anymore. There are other options on the market, and if you do want to use them, that's also cool. So much so that actually it's way cooler to use cantilever brakes in a way, because they look sick and you get street cred for them. So that's where I stand with them, and I think that hopefully will answer some of the questions and stop you telling me that's because I don't know how to. I could do them, just like V-brakes. Be creative. Now this one's a little bit easier because there's no controversy here. In my opinion, if you're going to build a bike, you need to find your flair. You need to do something on it that's a little bit different. And what I mean by that is don't be shy to do what everybody else is doing. Don't do this because that guy says I should do this and this girl says I should do this and that's why I'm doing it. No. It's your bike, you're going to be riding it, and you need to do something that makes you happy, and that's the whole point of doing this. For me, sometimes that means going completely off the rails and pulling out a paint pen and starting drawing shapes all over your frame. This is the Kona Do. I don't really remember exactly how long ago I bought this. Maybe just after COVID, so ages. I've built it a few times now, and last time I built it I decided to go a little bit crazy and make it a little bit different, and I'm very happy with it. It looks sick, and it's just something a little bit more special for myself. But also the fact that choose your audience, or maybe read the room. I don't know what I'm trying to say. My point is the fact that sometimes there's bikes that aren't that good or that great, and sometimes it's good or okay to go a little bit wacky. This Rally Nitro, for example, it has a really cool paint job in it. It's like a fluorescent-y kind of fluoro yellow with like spider web kind of cobweb paint all over it. Very, very cool. It's the only reason I bought it, and I paid too much for it. But it is battered. It's not very desirable to a lot of people as well, so it was just on its last legs, and I decided to go a little bit crazy and paint the rear triangle pink. For no other reason, the fact that it just looked cool. I actually had some of that kind of cobweb paint as well, so I put that over the back of it, and it kind of matched the rest of the bike, and it looked like it was meant to be, but it kind of made it even more me, and it made it a bit more special for me to ride, and I really liked it. Actually, a friend of mine has that now. I need to go and see if they've built it up, because if not, they need to, because it's a sick bike. Buy some flared bars. I near enough only use flared bars now, and for someone who, if you don't know what I mean, flared bars as in like not a flat bar, not a curly drop bar, but a bar that kind of has a little bit of oomph on the sides of that. The biggest reason for this is comfort. I've definitely used my hands for most of my working life, and my wrists and everything. It's just like, you know, I'm not gonna. I ache sometimes, and I don't really want to be aching on the bike. The bike is somewhere you're meant to be comfortable, you're meant to be able to lap up miles and enjoy yourself. So a flared bar or a alt bar of some sort, there's lots of different kind of ways you can go about this, change the way the bike feels, and I wish someone had told me this earlier. I come from mountain biking. I've ridden mountain bikes most of my life, if not all of my life. I've been on a mountain bike, and I like them. That's kind of what I knew. I also really liked wide handlebars as well, so like it was kind of what I was comfortable with. I kind of saw a few people that flared bars and stuff, and I just kind of thought they looked a bit weird. I can't remember the first set I bought. It was years ago now. Can't even remember what bike it would have been on, but I remember doing it, and it just changed the way the bike felt. You can get them quite wide as well, so like if you are riding this bike off-road and doing some trail riding or whatever it might be, you can still get wide bars. I think like my Ritchie Coyotes, I'm sure they're almost 800 wide. They're massive bars, but they've got a nice big flare on them, which means they're really, really comfortable. Someone once said to me the fact that they were looking for some bars, and they weren't sure which ones to get. They didn't know what to search for, and the example of what they liked was the fact that they rode a line bike regularly, and they felt like the line bike's handlebars come straight out like that. And he said that it just like was the best feeling in the world, but it was a line bike, so it sucked. How do I get my bike to feel like that? Flared bars. If you haven't ever tried a flared bar, this is your sign to do it. I've put a massive order in for stickers actually today or yesterday. I've been going through them all, and you know what happens when I go through my stickers. I find lots of spare ones. Stickers that I've been sent, stickers that I've collected over the years, but most importantly, stickers that like I said that were in stock, or sorry, out of stock, and it turns out I had tons of them left. For example, these went out of stock a few days ago, and then I found a handful of them. So I've put those amongst a bunch of other stickers and some of the Crossy Cruise free stickers, all in envelopes, like so. And there is a absolute shed ton of stickers. Each packet will have, each envelope will have at least 10 stickers inside, and they're all completely random. I basically put a load of piles out and then just chuck them all in envelopes and stuff. So if you're keen, I know everybody really likes this. I was only ever doing this once, but people said they were really sad that they missed out. So they're going on live on the website now, spray.bike.com. Go and check them out. You only need 2 bikes. Now this is a funny one for me to say because I've got loads of bikes, but I am thinking about it a bunch at the moment about trimming the fat, as it were, and narrowing them down. And I want to have 2 main bikes that the bikes that I kind of use all the time, and if I was going to, they kind of stay built, I suppose, is the main thing for me personally. A lot of my bikes, as you know, I build them up and then I have to take them apart to build something else because I don't have a lot of space. So if I have 2 solid bikes, they're always ready. I have no excuses not riding them, and then I got enough space to build like maybe a third or something. But the point of 2 bikes, in my opinion, is the fact that you have an all-year pub bike and then an actual like personal bike. What I mean by that is I quite like doing long distance riding and trail riding and kind of like forest stuff, off-road mainly. So I've got my StayTB, that's my ATB off-roader, do it all kind of bike. But the other bike I'd like to have is kind of like an all-rounder, but it's like it's good for all weathers. If it got stolen, it would suck, but it ain't the end of the world. It's kind of that comfy, kind of like lap up the miles with all your gear on it, commuting, that sort of stuff. So my all year round bike would have fenders on it, it would have a big rack basket type deal on the front, probably have some lights and comfy bars. That's kind of all it needs to be. Probably chunky tyres, not chunky but wide slick tyres, some like Maxxis DTH, I really like those, I like the way they feel. Something big like that, and then you can just lap up the miles. The other bike, your personal bike, can kind of be wherever you might be. Maybe it's a bloody high-end carbon road bike because you like doing mad road riding, I don't know. But you have a special bike and then your everyday bike. 2 bikes is the answer. Go and tell whoever you need to tell. 2 bikes, you need 2 bikes. 1 bike is fine. So I've actually had this conversation a couple of times with a couple of different people around why all my bikes are 1 buy and I don't use, you know, the 3 buys, 2 buys, whatever that bike might have had beforehand. One of the answers is the fact that I buy all my bikes pretty much as frames only, mainly because I don't have that much room to keep all the parts, and I would keep all the parts and I'd just have too much stuff. I like to just frames. I'm a frame guy. The other reason is I quite like to take my bikes apart, and I like to change them quite regularly, changing up the parts, changing up different things, and I don't often have a lot of time to do it. I've got 2 small children, I care for them a lot of the time around the week, so I sometimes have to squeeze in a little job here, squeeze in a little job there. If I have to set up one less thing on the bike, it makes sense for me. Another thing is the fact that like the biggest reason to have more gearing or cogs at the front is the fact that it's for range, right? And I happen to live in London. I don't really go up hills very often, which is starting to slowly kill me at the moment. I do need to work on my hill climbs, but I don't need that much range, and I just quite like the look of it. I like the neatness, and I also like to have less things on my cockpit. That's why. So next time someone says you're doing it wrong because you're doing 1 buy, that's not true. There's preferences, and that's how it works, and that's how the life goes. I don't know what I went with that then. It's very hot in here, it's a very hot day. I'm sweating. And that's that really. Like, this is a kind of a bit of a ranty kind of, no, it's not a ranty, it's more of a, I've had lots of questions and conversations with people over the last couple of months, to be honest, and a lot of things people say are like, you know, am I allowed to do this? Is this the okay thing to do? And I think that's why I wanted to share a bit about my preferences on a few topics, to kind of be like, there's no right and wrong. Like, if someone's telling you there's a right and wrong, then they are narrow-minded. That's the best way to say it. There are things that are better. In my opinion, hydraulic brakes are better than cable actuated disc brakes, for example. They're stronger. That's that, right? But there's also things when it comes to the fact that I quite like the way the V-brakes feel over cantilever brakes, you know? There's, like say, there's lots of things where it's like just difference and opinions. And I don't know if that was very good examples, if I'm really honest. So next time someone says, oh, you're doing that wrong, ask them why. Get their advice, get their opinion. I don't want people to start fighting against each other about these things. It's more of a, don't be afraid to ask them why, because the way that you're doing it might be better for you, and I think that's the most important thing. It is crazy hot in the studio right now, so I think I'm going to call it quits. If you enjoyed today's video, this is slightly different from what we usually do around here. We do lots of kind of product reviews, bike rides, riding, and then bike builds, which is the bread and butter, this thing we love to do the most. And I've got some cool ones to share with you soon. So if you want to stick around, you want to see more things that we do, it's the best time to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free and it helps me out a bunch. If you can't wait for the next video, that one there is a particularly good one.